Now, there are lots of other uses of theory to design markets, and there are two kinds of markets that we've been using theory for. There are auctions. These are markets where money plays a role, and matching allocations. These are markets where money does not play a role. Okay, and so I just want to quickly go over a few of these. We've already talked about selling radio spectrum. Those are markets where there's an auction going on and money is key. Internet advertising, electrical power, these are other very common uses where we buy power for our electricity systems, or we sell rights to advertise to consumers on the internet using a series of auctions. It can also be used, there are complicated auctions that are possible that are tailored to particular applications. For example, if we were buying land for environmental set-asides, which some countries are trying to do, it's really important that the pieces of land that you buy are adjacent to each other so that there's more land to roam freely for animals and so on. It's better for biodiversity. So the kinds of objectives that you set could be complicated, and that requires a design that recognizes the procurement goals and achieves them efficiently. Now, there are also quite a few markets, or what economists think of as markets, where money doesn't play any role at all. So you might imagine, for example, that the problem of allocating COVID vaccines. We just heard in the last few days that there have been some very successful trials. Pfizer announced a very successful trial for its COVID vaccine. And that vaccine, which has very high protective properties, it has to be kept extremely cold when it's transported to wherever it's going to be used. It has to be 80 degrees below 0 Celsius, which is extremely cold. And many places in the world don't have capacity to use a vaccine like that. We have other places where other vaccines which are being developed that require less infrastructure to be, they're less effective, but they require less infrastructure. And so moving the right vaccines to the right areas is an allocation problem. And we can have, for example, markets in which everybody is allocated rights to vaccine, but they trade those rights in a way that allows those who have the right infrastructure for the very cold vaccine to have access to it, and those who don't have the infrastructure to acquire vaccines, either the vaccine or at the time when they are able to make effective use of it. And so that's a role for markets. In the United States and in other countries around the world, we also have kidney exchange. We have people who come where one party is ill and needs a new kidney, and they have a donor who's willing to donate a kidney but is not compatible, and there's swaps that take place. No money changes hands in these arrangements, but the kidney that is compatible with the sick person arrives for that sick person, and the donors are paired with the people for whom they're good matches. We use matching for school allocation, what we call school choice in the United States, where children may have preferences over which school they go to. We use matching for course allocation in some schools, in some colleges and universities. Some courses are scarce, and you can't give everybody all the classes that they want. And then we need a mechanism to decide priorities. And all of that can be done too. And none of those last four that I've been describing, none of those make use of money. They make use instead of some kind of trading system that doesn't just benefit rich people, but benefits everybody who participates in the system.